The squirrel was magic! Beware your human heart. This is Diabolical Index 4611. That's June 11th, 2018. Where the pages of the uncanny reside. I'm Corey Dawson, as always, coming to you live from the Nut House for a very special non-entry episode with the Golden Sword of Dragonwalk. It's a twist-a-plot, one of the brands of Choose Your Own Adventure from that time period. It was actually done by R.L. Stine of Goosebumps fame, so this ought to be pretty interesting. I don't normally flip through these before we go on, but I saw that there were some massive choices to be made. This might have some of the most massive options that I've ever encountered on the Diabolical Index non-entry episodes. But this is episode number 8, which means that we are at episode 16 total. I can't believe it. I look around a lot and I can't believe we've done this 16 times. But there were some spaces in between. People got sick and people got busy and filming and whatnot. So we should have more. We need to stop slacking off, Andrew. But before we get into the book, I got a couple of bursts and deaths.
I was going to say, speaking of that, I'm probably going to be filming next week. So.
Oh, you're filming next week too? Okay, so yeah, there you go. I mean... No, the life of creatives is always hectic and full of non-paying gigs. It happens. But Bursts and Deaths this week, I definitely didn't want to skimp on these because it's two of my favorite authors of all time on this list. So, first of all, born this week in history is the famous mystery author Donald E. Westlake. And... If you don't know Donald E. Westlake by name, you probably know a little bit about his homage, or I guess you could say taking his likeness and the likeness of his pen name, Richard Stark. Donald E. Westlake wrote the Dortmunder novels, which were kind of light, comedic burglar novels. And they were a lot of fun. The Hot Rock, and I think it was like, What's the Worst Gonna Happen? Things like that. It was a lot of fun. But also at the same time, he wrote under the pen name Richard Stark, and he wrote the Parker novels. And they made a few Parker movies. There was one named Point Blank with Lee Marvin in, I think it was like the late 60s. And then they made one with... for some reason, they couldn't use the name Parker, so they called him Porter. And it was Payback with Mel Gibson. So if you've ever seen that, you can tell how hard-boiled it was. And then just recently, they made one called Parker with, of all people, Jason Statham. It makes no sense at all. So it's one of those things where they had to wait till he died, and then they made that. But I'd say that the most interesting part about Donald E. Westlake's life is that the pen name Richard Stark was... it was kind of like a dual inspiration for Stephen King's book, The Dark Half. And if you've read that, I'm sure everyone's heard of that in some kind of way. If you listen to a Heckles and Horror with TJ on Tuesdays, you've probably heard of that book or movie, hopefully both. But in The Dark Half, writer's pen name, his pseudonym, his dark half comes to life and wants his life back after the author has decided to get rid of him. So it's kind of a double influence because King was writing about his pseudonym Richard Bachman being exposed right before that time, and he took part of the name of Donald Westlake, a friend of his, pseudonym, who wrote the hard-boiled detective stuff with a lot of violence and action in it, and made George Stark the fictional pseudonym that was based on Richard Bachman for the book The Dark Half. So Donald E. Westlake was a writer with 2 lives, and then he ended up having a 3rd life in the pages of The Dark Half by Stephen King. So there you go. Fantastic writer. Born this week in history. I'm sorry, I'm kind of parched right now. I'm kind of parched, Andrew. Not to hint or anything, but yeah. So that's the burst for this week. I'm trying to pare it down. A lot of times the bursts and deaths take up a little bit of space, so I'm trying to pare it down unless it's one that really strikes my fancy. But on to the deaths category. And the birth and death of this gentleman are really close together, so I probably have brought him up before, but it bears mentioning twice. G.K. Chesterton, the creator of the Father Brown series. This guy was a total... he was a jack of all trades. He was a total Renaissance man, especially when it came to criticism, and some people call him an apologist for the Catholic Church, but in a way he unveiled a lot of hypocrisies, but also defended some duties and morals of the Catholic Church. But at the same time, he created the Father Brown character, who is a detective that lives and breathes on being underestimated, which I love to no end. There's nothing more satisfying than seeing these cops and criminals going around French cities, and they're doing their dirty deeds, and the cops are trying to put everything in line, and all of a sudden this little doddering priest just comes walking by and picks up something that they fail to notice, and it ends up being the axis for the whole criminal case. So it's a lot of fun. I totally recommend that. So G.K. Chesterton, I've mentioned him before, and I recommend looking up pictures of him. He was definitely larger than life with his photographs. I hope when I get to be the age he was in those photos, I look something like that. He's a lot of fun. But anyway, there you go. Bursts and deaths, trying to fly right through these. Also, because I have some shout outs I wanted to get to tonight. Because we had the first annual Rising Sun Blues and Barbecue event last weekend, and there were some people I was looking forward to seeing over that weekend, and one of them is noted author and wrestling historian John Cosper. He came out with his completely charming, wonderful, intelligent family. They were so much fun, and we got to talking earlier today about his some of the works he's got coming out. And one that he's had out, I'm not sure how long it's been, but Andrew is not fired. Maybe he's fired. I don't know. If I don't get that damn tea in 2 seconds, but. No, maybe not. I don't know. I'm a guest in his studio, so I can't say. I can't say.
Fired, so that way your show will be fine. I was fired from the movie. It's Roman.
Oh my God! I should have known. Anyway, but John Cosper is pretty prolific. If you look on his Amazon page, he's got all kinds of books out there. One of the most recent, before his newest, is called Don't Call Me Fake. Let's see. I'm going to double check. I want to make sure I get this right. Don't Call Me Fake. The Real Story of Dr. D, David Schultz. He was a wrestler. He looks so familiar to me when I see it. It may have been so long ago that I can't remember offhand, but he was a wrestler that kind of came into notoriety when there was a 2020 reporter that came backstage at Madison Square Garden, and the reporter asked him about the fakeness and the non-legitimacy of wrestling, and he just so happened to knock the dust off that guy's head a couple of times, and that didn't go over so well. I don't know what it proved when it comes to the legitimacy of wrestling, but it definitely made him infamous. And later on, after wrestling, he became a bounty hunter for 20 years and upheld justice in that way. So bringing fugitives in, that's a pretty big deal for an ex-wrestler. So I bet that's an interesting book. So definitely go to John Cosper's page on Amazon. Check that out. And also, he's got a new one coming out soon called Memoirs of a Madman. It's about Madman Pondo. And he's wrestled around the world. And I guess that he's become friends with the Insane Clown Posse and Vanilla Ice and some others. Is it John Fairplay? Johnny Fairplay. And Vanilla Ice actually wrote the foreword for the book. So all these books, I think that it's not so much a biography as a collaboration between the wrestlers and Mr. Cosper. So definitely check those out. He's written all kinds of things. Other than being a wrestling historian, he also writes science fiction. So he's returned to, I think, kind of an homage of Barsoom in the Mars books from Edgar Rice Burroughs, but in maybe a little bit more of a tongue-in-cheek manner. So definitely check him out. He's an awesome guy all around, and he really does his homework. So there is that. Okay, so the second one I wanted to get to before I got into Golden Sword of Dragonwalk was H.M.M. Films out of Logansport and beyond. They were instrumental in the Dolly Deadly Kill Dolly Kill. I think it just wrapped production. I'm not sure. They may be doing some things on the back end, but that it is really something else. Definitely go to HM&M Films page on Facebook. Also, you can find them through Rad Entertainment and Garage House Studios. But they've done all kinds of things. Slaughterhouse and Blood Moon River and House of Horrors. So, you know, it's that kind of show, folks. But they're great people. Despite the racy content, they got a heart of gold. So definitely check that out, and congratulate Tom on his new, I guess it's forthcoming arrival. He's got some good news not too long ago. So definitely go over there and say hi to Tom and Dan, Tony, and Rebecca. It's the heart and soul of indie horror up in Logansport. So definitely check them out. And keep an eye out for their newest. They just kind of broke the news about Necrotorium. It's a movie that is so top secret that I'm probably not even supposed to tell you about it, but there we are. Breaking news. Necrotorium. HM&M Films. Check them out. Okay, so on to the show. See, you got Bookcam? See if he's on his game. Alright. So, like I said, this is written by R.L. Stine. So we'll see. It's definitely got some provenance. So let's see what we can find in here. Let's see. Twisted Plot number 4. Golden Sword of Dragonwalk by R.L. Stine. Am I still with this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Golden Sword of Dragonwalk. Step back into the past, to a time when dragons walked the earth, and the dark spells of sorcerers did battle against the flashing swords of valiant knights. You find yourself possessor of the Golden Sword of Dragonwalk. Who cares if a dragon's walking? Doesn't seem that action-packed.
Sounds cool, though.
It sounds cool. Maybe he was using it as a cane. And with the legendary sword comes a mission, to drive away the evil that holds Dragonwalk in its grip. I'm not going to say... It's got a couple... It looks like they've transcribed a couple of the choices from inside, so I'm not going to read those. I don't want to give those away. But in the Twisted Plot book, you decide what path to take and what will happen once you get there. When you finish one adventure, you are ready to set out on another. All right. So, as always, give me a Bookcam again. I always want to see if I can't give credit where credit's due. You see it on here? Get a little bit closer, you're my kind of man.
You can't really read it.
Can't really read it, but what it says is the bookshelf, new and used books, 101 North Walnut, Batesville, Indiana, 47006. It's where I've been getting, I got a gigantic stack of my head looks massive. What else is new? But, I got a gigantic stack of Choose Your Own Adventure from there. I mean, Choose Your Own Adventure is kind of like saying Coke. It's, you know what I'm talking about. They're not all branded Choose Your Own Adventure, but this one is a twist of plot. So let's see what we have on the inside. Beware. They always start with a warning. Beware. Do not read this book from beginning to end. You are about to enter the medieval kingdom of Dragonwalk. It takes courage to visit this once proud land, for the people who have lived here have all been driven out. Today, Dragonwalk is populated by sorcerers of dark forces, dragons who live only to destroy, and nightmare creatures who feed on evil and kill for pleasure. Man, that's really good. Yeah, you can tell this is R.L. Stein. He's getting into it. Knights... Wait a second. Knights of the Round Table are involved in this. That's kind of weird. Knights of the Round Table travel around the borders of Dragonwalk rather than... Oh, I see what they're saying. Rather than risk the terrors that await within. Carrying with you the legendary golden sword of this kingdom, you venture forward with a mission to rid Dragonwalk of the evil forces that have held it in darkness for so many centuries. You will make your own decisions and choose your own paths by following the directions at the bottom of each page. If you choose well, the ancient honor scroll of heroes will include your name. If you take the wrong paths, the forces that have devoured Dragonwalk will devour you, too. Farewell, traveler. To page 2. A visit to Grandma Carmen's means a day of exploring, for your lonely old grandmother lives in a tall mansion with hidden closets and passageways, and attic rooms that haven't been opened since long before you were born. You gobble down the toast and jam she's prepared for your lunch and ask to be excused. You can't wait to climb the cracked stairways and search out the fresh surprises the old house always offers. Just a moment, Grandma Carmen says, wiping crumbs of toast from her chin with a yellow lace napkin. Before you disappear for the day, I have a little surprise for you. The doorbell rings, and she walks down the long hallway to the front door. There's the surprise now, she says. She opens the door, and a little girl walks in. It's Stacy, who lives down the street. What's the surprise, you ask, impatient to begin your exploring. Stacy is the surprise. Oh, gosh. It's a little young for this. Grandma. I think it might be the big bad wolf in disguise. Stacy is the surprise, says Grandma Carmen. I promised her mother you'd look after her this afternoon. Oh, I see. I understand. You don't mind, do you? They always say you don't mind after they've already presented you with this responsibility. Go to page 3. Don't mind. See what I mean? A 7-year-old girl underfoot while you have dark caverns to explore, mysterious passageways, and endless treasure-filled tunnels to travel? Grandma Carmen looks at you sternly. Of course I don't mind, you say quietly. You climb the creaking attic stairs slowly, with Stacy right behind you. The two of you creep through dark rooms filled with wisps of cobwebs, dust as thick as snow. A curving passageway leads to another one, and at the end of this silent tunnel, a circular room unfolds. A room you have never seen before. Now, don't touch anything unless I say it's okay, you tell Stacy. But you're already too late. Stacy has picked up a large blue vase with a strange writing around the base. Isn't this pretty? She asks, holding the vase up. As she does so, the bookcase on the far wall begins to slide open. Now we're talking. Stacy, what do you do? You cry, startled by the moving wall. Look, a passageway behind the bookcase. A secret tunnel! Come on, let's see where it leads! No, Stacy says, backing towards the doorway. Let's get out of here. I'm scared. So, this is awesome. I love me some secret bookcase doors. Okay, of course I would. Anyone who knows me, even for 2 seconds, would know that I would. Okay, so we have our first option of the night. If you persuade Stacy to explore the secret passage with you, go to page 4. If you don't want to argue and would rather try another room, go to page 6. So, I'm going to make a note here, because a lot of times I kind of forget where we're going. So, all of a sudden, this is great. The first page was the warning. The second page is kind of like the lead up with the grandmother and the little girl. And number 3, we're already into the action. So this is definitely the way to go. Okay, so Mary's saying page 4. So page 4 is to explore the secret passage. But then again, I mean, there's nothing that says that another room won't have another passageway. So if you don't want to argue and rather try another room, turn to page 6. I mean, it says try another room. This is kind of strange here. Makes me wonder where Grandma Carmen has gone to, or if Grandma Carmen is actually a grandmother at all. But that's the risk when you enter into these kinds of bargains. Let's see here. So we got some people on. We need some decisions here. If you want to persuade Stacy, if you're just coming in as Stacy's a 7-year-old that us and you have been forced to babysit because of Grandma Carmen. Want to go to page 4 if we want to try to talk her into exploring the tunnel. If you don't want to argue and want to try another room, we're going to go to page 6. So let's see here. No, can't do that. I almost turned to the end. I guess it wouldn't really matter. The end and the beginning, they're two perilous sides of the same coin. So it doesn't really matter, but oh boy, it has been a day. Hopefully not as exciting as what we're about to get into, but I actually talked to one of the members of HM&M Films and Rad Entertainment earlier today about a film project. So hopefully some of the stuff in here will be a little bit of an inspiration for that. You never know. You never know when inspiration is going to come from. I mean, Campground Requel. Who'd have thunk it? Okay, Sammy Sunsplash, number 6. Try another room. Oh boy. I'll be dashed. We already got 2 people looking to turn tail. But, like I said, there could be something crazy in the other room too. It seems like, we talk about with these Choose Your Own Adventures, a lot of times I mean, in some points you would almost refer to it as a dungeon master, but what it is actually, it's the kind of the book itself and the writer of the book that they want you to go in the direction that they want you to go. Sometimes if you if you see where they want you to go and you try to go the other way just out of pure spite, you either end up coming to a sticky end, or you just end up back where you came, or you get some kind of silly decision that no one would ever make, and then they give you an option to go back the way you came. So that happens a lot too. But if you're just not coming in, if you want to persuade the little girl to go down the tunnel, it'd be page 4. And if you want to change rooms, you go to page 6. I know that there are people of action in this group. Otherwise, you wouldn't have come to the non-entry episode number 8. That's the way it goes. People just don't show up here by accident. Now, what are you doing? I thought you... Wait. You already picked that.
I know. I meant to... It didn't go through the first time.
I'm telling you.
They can't see it.
This guy is a devil's advocate all over the place. Devil's advocate. I'm calling you out. You're not going to get away with this. Not on my... No. It's not going to happen. It will not stand. No, but yeah, we... Come on, folks. We are running out of time here. I normally get long-winded on this type of stuff, and I'm not 3 sheets to the wind this time, but sometimes I am, and showed up by accident. Oh my gosh. How am I supposed to take that?
Who said that?
Sammy Sunsplash said they showed up by accident. That's alright. You just happened to blunder into the coolest podcast that ever existed. So you're welcome. You should feel fortunate. This is the only time in history, that people have played Choose Your Own Adventures on the internet. Maybe not so much, but at least on Magic Scroll Network, it's a first. We can't all be, masters of all he surveys. TJ from Heckles and Horror, totally rocketing towards 2,000 views last week. I was noticeably embarrassed that we were nowhere near that, but we were almost a third of that, so we're getting up there. It'll happen. And as always, you can totally suggest the two books that I will be going through next week, if you'd like. A lot of times I don't even get around to picking them until after the non-entry episode. So, see, awesome. Can't wait. That's what I like to hear. Okay, one last call on this. If you persuade Stacy to explore the secret passage with you, it's page 4. If you want to go to another room and try it out, it's page 6. Just to let you know, so far we're going to another room. I don't know what that's going to entail, but who knows? Let's see here. 6, 4. Yeah, we're definitely going to another room unless someone chimes in and gives me their 2 cents. I think I'm just going to go ahead and turn to page 6. Alright. I'll wait a couple more seconds and wait for you guys to grow a backbone and jump headlong into the unknown. That's what we normally do around here. Not really. Not so much. Usually we make informed decisions and educated guesses to find out where we're going to go next. But to repeat one more time, if you want to persuade Stacy to explore the secret passage with you, we're going to turn to page 4. And if not, you don't want to argue, you'd rather try another room, you turn to page 6. Let's see. Paul's in here. What's Paul Schroyer got to say? Don't you have a... Nothing yet. Alright, Paul. You got to get in on this. If you want to go down the tunnel, it's 4. If you want to turn tail and run, it's page 6. Let's see here. I have to say that the poll really worked like a charm. A lot of times I try to get everybody to vote on these Choose Your Own Adventures, and sometimes they're lackadaisical about it. They kind of sit around and wait for someone else to make the decision, I guess. I don't know. But this time the poll went off like a shot. Thanks a lot, Andrew.
It's not ready yet.
Oh, boy. All right. We got, let's see. Well, okay, Jamie's in. All right, Jamie Isaacs saving the day, along with Sammy Sunsplash. We're going down the tunnel, page 4. I'm making a note here, so just in case we run into ogres. Come on, Stacy, let's see what's on the other side, you plead. I promise I'll take care of you no matter what. That's interesting, seeing as how he wanted to leave her, you know. He was totally pissed about having to watch her earlier, and now all of a sudden 2 seconds go by and he's her protector. And if it's something yucky, we can leave right away, she asked, starting to give in. I promise, you say, pulling her into the passageway. You hope it's the truth. Freaking liar. There's a hazy sunshine on the other side of the passageway, much like the wardrobe in C.S. Lewis. You step out to find yourself at the edge of a silent forest. Again, just like C.S. Lewis. Peasants dressed in black, carrying sheaves of straw on their backs, walk slowly down a dirt path that leads to a dirty little town of straw huts in the distance. Welcome to Dragonwalk, a man's voice says quietly. You turn around to find a bearded man in a black robe. There is no welcome in his eyes, just the same pain and unhappiness you noticed in the eyes of the peasants who walk by in silence. You have not come at a happy time, the man says, as if he could read your thoughts. Perhaps you have been chosen to rescue Dragonwalk from its plight. Perhaps you're jumping the gun. This is a kid. I mean, we have no idea. I mean, we're a kid. All of us. It's hard to say how old we are. I mean, I guess we're old enough to babysit. So, we might look like a young Arthur in the Sword of the Stone, or whatever the name of that kid in the Black Cauldron series is called. I don't remember his name. Sorry. Let's see. Perhaps you have been chosen to rescue Dragonwalk from its plight. Who is he? Stacy asks you. I am the sorcerer Merle, the man says. Don't you mean Merlin, you ask? Are you kidding? Merlin wouldn't be caught dead here. I am Merle, sorcerer of the Dying Kingdom. Page 5. Dying, you ask? Take me home, Stacy says. Dying because no one can get in or out of Dragonwalk. We are all held prisoner, to be fed to 3 starving dragons. Let's go! You promised, Stacy cries. Wait a minute. Don't you want to have any fun? You ask her. That's my boy. There's nothing more fun than being in the belly of a vicious dragon. Awesome. None of our knights have been able to defeat the dragons, Merle continues. You have been sent here from another time and place. Perhaps you are the one who can free us from these creatures and return happiness to Dragonwalk. Well, I'd like to help, you begin. You promised! Let's get out of here now! Stacy insists. There's one of the dragons, the biggest one, Merle says, pointing a trembling finger towards the forest. You turn and see that the passageway leading back to Grandma Carmen's house is still there. You must decide what to do now. If you choose to return to the safety of your grandmother's house and visit Dragonwalk, we're not doing this. We've already made this decision. We're choosing to battle the dragons of Dragonwalk. Otherwise, we wouldn't have jumped into the tunnel when we did. Am I right? I'm right. You know I am. There's little time, Merle cries, for when the biggest dragon approaches, the other two are close behind. But you mean Ythir is taking the words from your mouth. That dragon looks mean, Stacy says. Thanks, Stacy, you say sarcastically. That's what I would have said anyway. The sorcerer Merle holds a golden sword. This is the legendary golden sword of Dragonwalk, he says. You've heard of it? No, I don't think so, you say quickly. The dragon roars. The gray sky turns scarlet. Birds shriek in terror. Merle puts the golden sword in your hand. Many brave knights have displayed their courage behind this golden weapon. Please, Merle, no speeches, you cry. What's so special about this sword? It gives its bearer the power to use it, Merle says. I love that. That's awesome. That's totally what one of these wizards would have said. Oh my god. There's no answer behind it. It comes from within you. There's something about you that allows you to wield this weapon. How about immortality, you ask? Does it make its owner invincible? Unable to lose a battle? No, Merle says quietly. The key to victory is the order in which you kill the dragons. If you battle them in the correct order, you will win. If you battle them in the wrong order, not even the golden sword will keep you from being devoured. Yuck, Stacy says encouragingly. Turn to page 9. Well, what's the correct order, you cry. The biggest dragon approaches. Behind it, you can see the fierce head of a slightly smaller dragon. Merle shrugs his shoulders. Beats me, he says. He turns and runs for cover, pulling Stacy. Oh my god! He just totally hid. The golden sword is gripped tightly in your hand. You must choose in which order you're going to fight the dragons. Only one order is correct. If you choose incorrectly, your stay in the kingdom of Dragonwalk will be short and not sweet. Choose an order. Hold the golden sword high, and don't forget to duck. Alright. Now the choices really begin. We got all kinds of orders here. If you choose to fight the dragons, big, middle, then little, turn to page 14. If it's big, little, then middle, page 15. If it's middle, big, then little, it's 19. I'm loving this. This is so absurd. If you choose middle, little, then big, turn to page 22. I hope everybody's listening because I can't repeat this 1,000 times. If you want to choose little, middle, then big, 23. If you choose little, big, then middle, it's 25. Alright. So here we go again. Big, middle, little, 14. Big, little, middle, page 15. Middle, big, little, 19. Middle, little, big, that's 22. If you want to choose little, middle, big, did I say that already? No, little, middle, big, 23. Little, big, middle is 25. So, I guess it's a question of, do you want to fight the biggest first? Do you want to fight the biggest last? Or some mixture in between? Okay, 20, we got one for 22. We got one for 23. So 22 is middle, little, then big. And 23 is little, middle, then big. So basically it's ascending order with that one that Paul picked. As he pulls no punches and plugs his new show.
You really plug Van Damme.
Van Damme. It's Jean-Claude. First Saturday of every month. We have very little, if any, shame around here. So, yeah, definitely check out Van Damme as Jean-Claude on the first Saturday of each month. I'm not exactly sure. He's already done Bloodsport and Cyborg, right?
Kickboxer's next.
Kickboxer's next? Okay, cool. Kickboxer's good because it has Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds in there.
I think
Okay, so Sammy Sunsplash is saying mix it up. So, yeah, she's definitely got that mixed up with that one. Let's see. So basically what you're going for is a mixture of the smallest, the biggest, and the mid-range dragons, and you have to kill them in a certain order in order to win. In order, I guess, for them to be vanquished, and none of the knights have been able to do it yet. Okay, Copacetic Genocide is going for 25. Lord have mercy, this is going to be something. Usually it's a tiebreaker till the bitter end, and in this case, there are all kinds of choices. Normally, I don't put my 2 cents in on this, but I think, I mean, you have to avoid trying to be too random. I would think you have to have some sort of an order, but you think that knights would have tried reverse order, forwards order, so there'd be some kind of mixture that would do the trick.
I just thought you can beat the big one. Then you can beat the middle one, and you can beat the little one.
Yeah, so, let's see, Copacetic, 25. Yeah, so 25 was little, big, middle. So,
I did the wrong thing.
You have the... He chose poorly. But maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what the proper mixture is of these things. I guess that...
Can you give us a hint at all?
There's no hint that I could see. And in fact, the wizard, I don't think you were here, the wizard just ran for it. He took the little girl and hid when...
Figure it out!
Yeah, well, he said, beats me. He was like, I don't know. My name's Merle. Leave me alone. I'm going to go write a country album.
Do we have any that are double?
No, not yet. Where'd Jamie go? Okay, Paul's saying 25. All right, we're going with it. We can't wait forever on this one. There are too many options. So, we're going to page 25. That would be little, big, then middle. So, you're trying out the golden sword on the small one, and then once you figure out how to use it, you're trying to take out the big one, and when you're lagging, you're going for the middle one. All right.
Yeah, that ain't actually a bad plan.
The dragons line up to meet your challenge. The golden sword is heavy in your hand as you attack the smallest one first. Who is that screaming so loudly as you plunge the sword forward? It's you! Fear, the challenge to succeed, and your hope of freeing Dragonwalk of his captors drive you forward. I don't think this kid cares about Dragonwalk. He's just gotten there. The only person he's met is that wizard who gives him this sword that could be a toy. He has no idea. Tells him exactly what he needs to do, doesn't tell him how to do it, and then hides. So, I mean, all he's seen is these people acting sad. Why he would want to risk his life. But he's a finder of adventure, and so are we. Again and again, you thrust the blade toward the target. The smallest dragon, only about 3 stories tall, rears back its head and prepares to strike, but you strike faster. You attack the legs and move up to the knees, dodge and dart out of the way of its fierce, hot breath. The other dragons roar their disapproval as the smallest dragon drops to its knees, then falls defeated on its side. Yes. So, but it's not dead. Can't be. All you did was, like, fuck up its legs. So it's not dead. I wouldn't think. Maybe, I don't know. Victory! But a short one. The largest dragon is set to avenge the death of his... Wait a second. Maybe you got it in the femoral artery. It's bleeding out right now. Largest dragon is set to avenge the death of his companion. The ground trembles beneath his angry footsteps. The air turns hot and wet. No knight has ever gotten this far before! Merle yells from behind a bush. What? You turn to hear what he's trying to say over the roar of the dragon, and you accidentally drop the golden sword, you fool! The largest dragon sees an advantage and makes a dive towards you. Can you pick up the sword in time? Turn to page 28 fast.
Is that what it says?
Yeah. The dragon dives and misses. The heat of his breath burns the edges of your clothing black. Don't most knights carry shields? You ask yourself. But you have little time to think of equipment. The giant dragon is rising up from the ground, arching its serpentine neck. Serpentine? Sorry. Preparing to strike again. You make a grab at the golden sword. You miss. It seems to be wedged under a stone. Do you or do you not know? Are you not looking at this right now? You pull at it. The dragon strikes. You throw yourself out of its path and roll away from its gnashing teeth. You pull at the sword with all your might. You freed it. It gives you new courage to die. Again and again, you slash the dragon's legs, sometimes hitting nothing but air, sometimes hitting your target. Soon the blows of the golden sword have an effect on your terrifying foe. The dragon slows down as you hack away at it, its energy flowing out from a dozen tiny wounds. Encouraged, you renew your attack. The giant dragon's face fills with surprise, but no one is more surprised than you as it lurches forward and falls onto its face, silent and dead.
What you know about that?
Smelling a rat here. Only the middle dragon remains. You do not pause to take a breath. You turn to face this medieval monster. Page 29. But the look in the dragon's eyes is not one of anger, but of grief. With its two companions gone, the middle dragon has lost all of its fight. It offers no resistance as you oh my god! It totally just stands there while you impale it.
Jesus.
My god, there's some feels here. It offers no resistance as you plunge the golden sword into its heart. What book did you guys pick here? You are victorious, and because of you, all the people of Dragonwalk are victorious. The sorcerer Merle rushes out to thank and congratulate you, followed by Stacy, who is still shaking her head in disbelief, followed by the grateful peasants in the town. Did we honestly pick... We couldn't have. Did we honestly pick the best option first, like flat out?
You test the sword out, then...
I don't know.
Then you go for the bigger one, because you're still...
So the grateful peasants of townspeople of Dragonwalk walk out to meet you. Many knights have failed, but you have succeeded, Merle says. It is in my power to reward you with one wish. Wish for anything in the kingdom, and it is yours. Wow, you tell yourself. Anything in the kingdom? Gold, diamonds, wealth. What shall I ask for? I wish we were back in Grandma Carmen's house, Stacy suddenly says, before you can get your wish. Pop! Two of you are back in the attic of Grandma Carmen's house. The sorcerer has sent you back just a little bit in time. You have discovered a secret passageway. You know you want to go through it and explore, but Stacy doesn't want to go. You do not remember anything that has happened to you in Dragonwalk. What will your next adventures be like?
Aw, boo.
What in the name of hell? That was...
I think we slayed the dragons.
Okay, wait. Alright, this isn't as bad as I thought. So basically, it takes us back to the option that we didn't take. So we're back in the attic again, and we can't remember Dragonwalk. Okay, Stacy, it's okay, you say soothingly. We don't have to explore the passageway. We don't have any fun at all today. It's fine with me. It's too dark in there, she says. She's backed up nearly to the door. Okay, we'll go to another room, you say, following her. I know where there's some great old clothes we can try on. Who on earth? What on earth? Before you can finish your sentence, you hear loud noises coming from the secret passageway. Footsteps, then a scream of pain. You stare in amazement as a knight in full armor, carrying a golden-bladed sword above his head, staggers out of the dark passageway and falls to the floor at your feet. Help! The knight cries weakly. He attempts to pull himself up, but he falls back again. I am in need of help. Let's get out of here, Stacy manages to cry, her face white with fright. Please, let's go now. He's in trouble, you say. We've got to help him. We can't just leave him here in the attic. Okay. I think in this case, I'm going to go ahead and see what's up here. Okay. It looks like it might be a different story. If you choose to follow Stacy out of the room as fast as you can, turn to page 10. If you choose to stay and help this mysterious intruder in the attic, turn to page 12. So, I don't know. I don't know about this book. I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this book.
Like, I felt like we did the greatest thing, and then like they just like, oh, go
yeah,
back.
It was like, yeah, remember that awesome thing you did?
You forgot about it.
It sucked. So we're going back to the beginning. I mean, this isn't like the infamous Scene of the Crime, Choose Your Own Adventure. I think it was number 8, something like that. My God, that was horrible. Until the drive-by shooting. Which, I mean, you just can't get any better than that. Okay. Paul's saying... I almost said ditch the bitch, but I'm not going to say that because she's a little tiny girl. She's scared of this stuff. Although, I guess I did say it.
Hey, she ruined it for us the last time.
She ruined everything. Okay, so we got 1 for 12.
I voted for 12 as well.
So we're thinking very deeply about helping the intruder in the attic.
He's bleeding. She ran off.
He's bleeding. She ran off.
She done got his back there.
I mean, I suppose that it could be a trick.
Oh, the magician?
Well, I mean, he looks like a knight. But if it looks like a knight, and it walks like a knight, and it talks like a knight, does that necessarily mean it's a knight? Not necessarily. You never know. So, once again, if we choose to follow Stacy and get out of the room as fast as we can, it's going to be page 10. But if we choose to help the mysterious intruder that we know nothing about, that's bleeding all over Grandma Carmen's floor, that's holding a weapon above his head as if it's going to slash us in half, go to page 12. We're going to give it my favorite time period. 2 jiggles of a jackrabbit's ass. It's over. Anyone? Anyone?
We got 3 people watching right now.
Yeah.
E3's happening right now, so.
Well, to liven things up while we're waiting for a decision, let's go to Bookcam and I'll show an illustration of this laughable knight here. He's got all the pomp and circumstance, but he doesn't have much much in the way of courage, looks like.
Jamie said 12.
Can you see it all right?
Yeah, you can see it. You can get closer if you want. There you go.
The closer you get.
If I would have seen him, I wouldn't have helped him. He looks ridiculous.
But he's got that cool swashbuckle, though. He actually kind of looks like a... where am I here? He actually kind of has that gladiator look. He's got the swashbuckle across his chest, hooked to that shoulder plate, which I really dig. That's kind of like Mad Max. All right, 12, 12, 12, right? All right, 12 it is. You're fucking dead. No, I'm just kidding. Who are you? Where do you come from? You cry, struggling to help the knight. I come from a kingdom known as Dragonwalk, he says in a voice that grows fainter with each word. My kingdom has been the domain of evil for many years. I stood up to that evil, for I came to be possessor of the golden sword. We don't remember anything. We don't remember any of this. Remember. But now I am mortally wounded. I must pass on the golden sword, and with it the hopes of the few good people remaining in Dragonwalk. I have no choice but to pass it on to you. He shoves the golden-bladed sword at you. It's heavier than you expect, and you drop with a thud. I thought he died, but he didn't. He's still alive. Hold the sword tightly, the knight says, the color fading from his already pale face. White! You're white! Pale face! And May...
What happened there?
I'm trying to bring some... I haven't had my tea yet. I'm trying to bring some excitement to this thing. R.L. Stein, where are you, man? What's going on here? Hold the sword tightly, the knight says, the color fading from his already pale face. And may it bring you better fortune than it did me. The sorcerer Ravenhurst will follow me here. You must not let him get through the passageway. You must not... You must not let his evil into your world. Go, go! You must travel through the Black Tunnel to free Dragonwalk of its enemies! But I can't, you cry, struggling to lift up the heavy sword to return to him. I can't go off into some medieval kingdom and fight sorcerers. I'm supposed to stay behind. Take care of Stacy. So, I really... Oh, yeah, this is what a 7-year-old would say. This is definitely what a 7-year-old would say. It's no use, Stacy says quietly, fighting to hold back tears. He's dead, I think. Page 13. The knight has died. His death spurs you to action. Come on, into the tunnel, you scream at Stacy. He left his hopes with us. We cannot disappoint him. This is 1983. But what if we're not back by supper time? Yeah, this is the person that said, it's no use. I'm 7 years old. What if we're not back by supper time? Stacy cries as you drag him into the dark passageway. Grandma Carmen would get worried. You don't hear her words. Your only thought is to get to that dark, cold passageway and find out what awaits you on the other side. You run as fast as you can with Stacy struggling to keep up. You fall and feel wet earth on your knees. You pick yourself up and keep running. Light. Gray light. Is that the sky? You're definitely running on dirt now. The passageway ends. You're standing in a gray evening world of low, barren hills and scraggy shrubs. Ho there! A voice calls. You and Stacy, struggling to catch your breath, look up to see 3 men approaching, dressed in peasant robes. Maybe they're coming to help us, Stacy says, almost pleading for it to be true. Maybe they are Ravenhurst's men, you say. We must fight to keep them out of the passageway. If you want to wait and listen to what they have to say, choose page 16. If you choose to fight, choose page 18. Bring out your dead! We got Ravenhurst over here. We don't know what to do with these stinking demons. These dragons are kicking us out of our homes. Where am I hearing that from? Oh. Help! Help! I'm being oppressed! Get down, peasant! I'm an idiot. Anyway. That's what happens, man. We, man, there was one that was... What was the last one? What was the last one we did? Oh, that was the Indiana Jones one. So that was that was a treat. Even though Indiana Jones didn't do half the stuff I thought he was going to pay. Punching Nazis this way and that, explosions and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. Does this have the? Well, it's from Scholastic, which I'm sure everyone listening has fond memories of. Yeah. Scholastic book fairs are where it's at, or where it was. I haven't been to one lately, but I've seen Lucy's little pamphlets showing what's there and what isn't, and I gotta say, it's nowhere near as splendiferous as it used to be. Oh, wait, I got something that I can do in the meantime. I was reading a book, a compilation of Omnibus by Michael Ennis from 1938. over the last couple days. And the coolest thing ever. I had to look up 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I made it. I was like page 10. I had to look up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 words. 10 words and 10 pages that I had never ever seen before or knew what they meant. It was awesome. That's my that's my barometer of a good book right there. If I have to look up words in it, a lot of people might find that troublesome. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Unfortunately, there are no words in this book that I have to look up. I think it's made for people about the age of Stacy or older. I don't know. So, if you want to wait around and listen to these peasants, we're going to go to page 16. If you want to fight, we're going to 18. Now, this is one of those slippery slopes where if you listen to them, you might get information that you need, but they could also stick you. You never know. And we have a divided house yet again. We have one for 16 and one for 18. So let's hear it. You want to fight or you want to listen to what they have to say? Oh my God, that tea's good. Is that cinnamon stuff? Yeah. I'm gonna give a shout out to the company. What is it? What is it again? Churchill. What's the name of the tea?
Cincinnati Ravoy.
Cincinnati what?
Spice Ravoy, I think.
Ravoy?
Ravoy, like that's the type of tea it is.
Oh, I have no idea. Churchill Cincinnati Spice. I recommend it. I have it whenever he sees fit to take his sweet ass time to get it to me. I guess it's my own fault for not bringing my own, but wait a second.
He changed.
Paul's got it. What in the name of hell? Okay, 16. All right. Looks like we're listening to him. We haven't got all day, everybody. As the three men come nearer, you see that only one of them is armed, and he does not have a sword drawn. You hold the golden sword tightly in front of you, but do not move to use it. "The golden sword!" one of the men cries. "How did you come to possess it?" "A dying knight gave it to me," you say. You see that the three men are in awe of the sword. "Then you have come to rescue Dragonwalk from its foes," one of the men says. "You do not seem to be a powerful..." Oh, what a dick. "You do not seem to be a powerful knight or a clever sorcerer, so what are your powers, if any?" "Powers, you ask? Well, And what of the little girl?" one of them asks. "How will her powers aid you in your battles?" "Battles?" Your voice cracks at the word. "Well, I was just taking care of her." I love it how he's like, "Let's save Dragonwalk from its enemies." And I was like, I was just taking care of her for the afternoon, and I couldn't leave her behind, so I, what do I do? A rustling in the trees caused the men to huddle closer together. Oh, shit. The wind grows cold, and the gray sky turns to charcoal. "We have no time for conversation," one of the men says in a whisper. "Ravenhurst is near. His magic takes many forms, all of them evil. We must prepare quickly. We have come to help you," he says. Turn to page 17. All right. We have spared the rod and spoiled the child. No, save the child. Doesn't make much sense. "Where do we go? What do we do?" you ask, suddenly realizing you're going to be involved in a serious battle here. "I want to go home. Take me home right now," Stacy says. Put her in a sack. God. He probably would have been better off leaving her, because when he came back, he went back in time slightly. So if he would have just left her there, she would, in essence, be okay. Because he would come back before anything might befall, or if she tripped down the steps, he would instantly be back there a couple minutes before it happened. So she'd be okay. And she wouldn't remember the crushing paralysis that she received falling down Grandma Carmen's steps. "Take me home right now." You look around. There is no house, no passageway. No trace of the neighborhood you left, only low, grassy hills leading to the dark forest of bent and twisted trees. Whoa. Ravenhurst will find you soon enough, one of the men says with a frown. Ignoring Stacy, repeated demands to go home. It isn't safe for us all to travel together. You must choose one of us to help in your battle against Ravenhurst evil. And now comes the gauntlet thing, where you get to see who everybody is. The three men introduce themselves. There's Elcar, Night Warrior, Chelidor, an apprentice sorcerer, and Bendix, the wealthiest man in Dragonwalk. Well, well, well. Bendix greets you by holding up a bag filled with gold coins. I have found that evil can always be fended off with gold, he says. Elcar insists that a powerful sword is bigger than any gold. And Chalidor boasts that magic spells are more powerful than might or wealth. You must choose which of these men will bring you along to aid you in your battle against Ravenhurst. Only one can be chosen. The other two will then disappear into the forest. Turn to page 20. Ooh. Awesome. Give me the book cam, because this illustration has finally given us some goods here.
There you go, bring it up a little bit. There you go, get closer.
I actually really love this this illustration.
Go up just a hair. Keep going a little bit.
Killer trees. So actually, when you think about it, this book has two major features of the Evil Dead series. It's got a killer tree that wants to eat you alive, and it's got knights. It's a stretch, but it's not. That doesn't make it.
I was trying to figure out.
That doesn't make it any less true. I was gonna explain myself. Raven. Okay, this one. Ravenhurst is over 300 years old. Well, I would hope so. Jeez. Ravenhurst is over 300 years old, your new traveling companion tells you. In that time, many have owned the golden sword. That sounds like... I can't help it. It sounds like Black and Moist. Many have fought to rid Dragonwalk of this evil, and all have failed. Great! That cheers me up a lot, you say. First, you must know the power of the golden sword. The sword, you see, gives its power to anyone who tries to use it, even if you have never held a sword before. I haven't, you interrupt. The golden sword gives you the power to become an expert swordsman. This may help you, or it may not. What in the name of heck is that supposed to mean? How will being an expert swordsman not help you? You get your chance to use the golden sword sooner than you'd imagined. Suddenly you find yourself tangled in the low, wiry branches of a tree. You attempt to pull away, then realize that the tree branches are pulling you in. Dry leaves choke you as you feel yourself being drawn in tighter and tighter. Use the sword! Use the sword! Your companion cries. You hack at the branches with the golden sword. Can you free yourself? Pick a number, any number. All of you. Pick a number, any number. If you picked an even number... Did you all pick a number? Who picked even? No lies. I do not abide lies. What was yours?
2005.
So you got an odd number. Okay, so 2005, that's odd. You got two odds with 5. Any more? Any more? I need to know who picked an odd number and who picked an even number. You're just coming in. I asked everybody to pick a number.
Any number.
Any number. Pick a card, any card.
There's a frog butt on the screen. There's a frog in
Well, you gave me the goofiest mug in existence, so it's not my fault. Speaking of goofy, did you see my sunglasses I bought over the weekend? Oh my god, they're fantastic. I didn't bring them with me. I didn't want to get them broken. They're gigantic yellow trapezoids.
We get crazy in here.
We get crazy! If I wasn't doing such a serious podcast right now, I might be wearing them. I'm loving this tree. It's evil looking as hell. Okay, 5 in 2005. Come on, folks. We need numbers here.
What's your number?
I don't do anything.
Well, what number would you pick?
I don't vote on these. Where have you been?
I know you don't vote, but what number would you pick? Hypothetically.
The number I picked would have been an odd number.
Would it?
So, it doesn't help us any. Alright, let's try it. We are going for the odd number, 26. You grasp the golden sword tightly in your hand, your heart pounding, as the tree limbs tighten themselves around you. I can't breathe, you cry. You swing the sword wildly, slashing out at your captor. Slash again and again. The golden sword cuts through another grasping limb, tearing the bark off of another. You begin to swing more frantically, faster and faster, cutting and slashing, and the limbs begin to fall to the ground. You are winning. The tree seems to be loosening its hold. The golden sword is slashing your way to freedom. Then suddenly, the massive trunk begins to split apart. The tree draws open like a giant cave, and you feel yourself being sucked in. Now you are in darkness. You are inside the tree, trapped in a black hollow cave, still waving the golden sword, although there is no longer limbs to attack. Are you a permanent prisoner of this silent foe, or can you defeat this tree from the inside? Raise the golden sword and keep hacking, and turn to page 46. Ew. Okay. Ew. Well, I'll read it and then I'll show Bookcam. Because if I show it first, then I'll give it away. Fear drives the golden sword hard into the tree trunk. Fear drives your arm forward again and again. The clang of the sword echoes in your ears as you batter the walls that hold you prisoner. Daylight. You have broken through. You gasp at the fresh air, the sweet fragrances of the forest invading the tree trunk. The tree seems to give up. You push your way out of the trunk. The tree withers and dies at your feet. The ground is drenched with sticky green sap. Book can. So basically, the last couple of battles have reminded me of a lot of Hellboy 2: The Golden Army, where you, if you were Hellboy in that circumstance, you find the biggest thing that might, just might, not necessarily is, but just might be a threat, and you kill it, and it's never to be seen again in the history of the Earth. So, you got close, you're holding a weapon, the tree defends itself and wraps its branches around you and tries to crush you before it stabs you, and you slash the living hell out of it, and there's green sap all over your clothes and all over the ground, and now the tree's dead. It's dead. You've killed it. And before, you killed all the freaking dragons. All those people could have been lying. Maybe the dragons, you know, flew in and ate a lot of their best prized crops, and they didn't like them, so they wanted them dead so they could make more money in the marketplace. They were just hungry, just like the deer that eat your watermelons and stuff.
That guy did. The knight did say an evil sorcerer is coming.
The knight's lying. Ravenhurst is a bar. Guaranteed. All right. I made it! I'm free! You call out, holding the golden sword high above your head. But there's no one to hear you cheering. Stacy! Stacy! You cry. You look desperately for her and your new companion. Gone.
He sold her.
He sold her into slavery. Gone. Only distant birds answer your worried calls. Stacy and your companion must have been kidnapped. What? That's your first thought? I mean, they might have been hungry. You don't know these people. You met them for 2 seconds. You must go after them. You must find them, but where will you go? Should you hurry through the tangled forest, hoping to avoid such traps as the grasping tree? Or keep following the path you've begun? Should you call Liam Neeson? I don't know. A wide river cuts through the forest and runs in the same direction as the path you were taking. Should you avoid the perils of the forest and brave the unknown dangers of the river? Traveling on the water will certainly be faster, but where would it lead you? Okay, this is more like it. Because at least both of these things will help you get where you need to go, but there are different dangers involved with each one. It's your decision. If you choose to continue through the forest in your search for Stacy and a new companion, turn to page 54. If you wish to take your chances on the fast-flowing river, turn to page 51. So, it's either go through the forest and face the killer trees that you know are there on 54, or you can go down the river and the fast-flowing rapids of a river for 51.
I'm going to say go with the trees.
So, Andrew thinks that we should go for the trees again, even though it means certain death. That's cool.
We got out of it. We killed the tree.
We killed the tree. I know. I'm not feeling very good about it.
At least we know what's in the forest a little bit. We don't know what's in the
We don't know what's in the forest. We don't know what that tree had in store for Dragonwalk. Maybe that tree, you know, maybe it had been wronged by the people of Dragonwalk, so every time it saw a person, it wanted to kill it because they had, you know,
cut down the trees for their houses.
They had cut down a tree for their houses. They had done slash and burn operations. They really, really liked green toothpicks, so they would cut down these trees at every opportunity. So now, when they see this little bastard kid and this little chick or whatever, then there's like, food! Gotta eat something. I mean, it's not their fault that their fields have been irrigated with blood. The blood of innocent people. It's not their fault. They got a taste for it. It's like junk food. They like it. Especially when they're young. When they haven't learned what economics or taxes or, you know, monogamous relationships are. They just want blood and they will kill to have it. And it's not their fault. It's not their fault. Andrew is yawning right now.
I work third shift.
He works third shift.
I worked first shift today.
You worked. Oh, so what he's saying is that he worked a shift he's not used to. Doesn't that mean you're gonna get a lot of sleep tonight?
Probably.
Or wait, do you have to go in again tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Then it's don't fuck the whole time. So.
Oh my God. The life of an independent horror. What are you on this production?
I'm TJ's bitch.
It's hard work being TJ's bitch, he says.
But I'm his assistant.
TJ seems like he's got an iron fist and a velvet glove. I think he treats you pretty good. Okay, we got to make this decision here. If you want to go through the forest, like Andrew says, and face the terrors of these arbor killers, page 54. If you want to take your chances on the rushing rapids, it's 51. Let's go. See, I did all those shout-outs, and I think we started at 9:30. Or what time did we end up starting?
I don't know.
We weren't that far off base. I think it was something like 9:13.
I think it was like 9:15, maybe 9:20.
I don't think it was 9:20. I think we were still in the teens.
Well, we are at an hour and 17 minutes right now.
That doesn't sound right.
We are.
Oh, yeah, so, yeah, okay, so it was more like, okay, that's cool. I don't know.
Should be an hour and 10 minutes, right? Or an hour and...
Okay, nobody's jumping in on this one. So, you say trees, right?
Let's go down the rushing water.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
I feel like, here's my reasoning, is because I feel like if I watch someone get ate by a tree, I would not...
Number one, I hate to be a stickler for grammar, but it's eaten. So try again.
If somebody got
The man's tired.
eaten by a tree, there you go.
So you're saying, but you knew that like 2 seconds ago. Okay. Anyway, so no one else is in. I don't know. Who knows what's happening? R.L. Stein. I don't know about this one,
Let's
buddy.
go in the woods. It's fine.
Oh, for
I'm just doing it being ass.
damn it. Okay. Unless anyone stops me, we're going into the forest. Oh man, I hope we get to that one. We got some great illustrations here. I'm not taking any chances on the water, you tell yourself. Somehow I feel safer on dry land. You head back into the thick forest. Footprints. Could those be Stacy's and your companions? I don't know. Is one really small and one a lot bigger? What do you think? Damn, this guy's an idiot. They follow the narrow...
He's 7.
No, he's not. No, she was 7.
Oh.
He's old enough to be watching a 7-year-old.
So if he's 10?
Is that the way they work it in Cheviot or wherever the hell we are?
No, 15.
No, I don't think he's 15. I'm thinking 12 tops. They follow a narrow dirt path through the bent and tangled bushes. You follow the path, picking up speed, running over the prints, running to find your lost friends. A narrow beam of sunlight cuts through the trees overhead, forming what appears to be a spotlight on the grassy ground. And standing before you in that spotlight is a red object. A bright scarlet object that seems to be moving. What can that be, you ask yourself, slowing your pace just a little. As you approach, you see it's some kind of lizard, a scarlet lizard, preening in the sun. Bookend. You come nearer. You feel yourself drawn to it. You cannot resist it. It arches its neck and seems to grin up at the sun. You reach your arm forward. Something wants you to touch it. You must touch that scarlet lizard. I think there's some metaphors here. Is this some kind of metaphor for, like, the burgeoning sexuality of a young man? I don't know. Your hand makes contact. You touch it. Ow! The red heat of its body burns your hand. The small lizard begins to grow. Oh, shit! You realize you made a serious mistake. How serious? Turn to 61. Thanks for the commentary, RL. Stupid. Oh, by the way, he does not look like Jack Black. He looks like the janitor in that movie. Check the credits and you'll see that I'm right. The scarlet lizard grows and grows. It's taller than you now, and still it grows. Why don't you run from it? Why are you frozen there staring at it, watching it grow redder as it grows bigger and hotter? Why can't you run? I think the metaphor is clear. Perhaps if you close your eyes, the scarlet spell will be broken. It's holding you loosening, perhaps. Do you choose to run, or do you feel you must face this giant red creature? Preacher. I haven't seen that show yet, have you?
I watched one episode, I think.
You watched one episode? Was that the one on the airplane with the vampire?
I don't remember.
Oh my god.
I remember the preacher just exploding, I thought.
You're a millennial, aren't you? Doesn't pay attention to a goddamn thing. If you choose to run away from the scarlet beast, close your eyes tightly and sneak a peek. Wait a second.
What?
Close your eyes and open them, and look at page 67. If you feel you must stay and face it no matter what's the consequences, turn to page 71.
I'm going to say face him.
Face him?
Yeah.
Okay, Andrew's saying 71. Is everyone gone?
We got 3 people in there, but then they just left.
What are they doing?
I don't know. One's me. I'm telling you, it's because E3 is going on right now.
What's E3?
Electronics. You know what E3 is, right?
I said, what's E3? I love it. Okay. Are we running? Or where am I? I don't know. Are we running, or are we going after the scarlet lizard that hypnotized us and almost burned our hand off?
Fuck that lizard.
Fuck that lizard. I said metaphorically. It's pretty huge.
Yeah, let's see if this is actually...
The scarlet lizard in history. I'm trying to think of... I guess that the salamander... I can't remember if the salamander in Fahrenheit 451 was red or not. I thought it was gold or like brass. So that wouldn't make much sense here. It's interesting that the lizard, although they say, you know, in the Amazon, you have to watch out for brightly colored lizards. They're almost always bad. And oh yeah, public service announcement. If you ever find yourself wading through the Amazon River, hopefully, just hopefully, you're wearing the chainmail underwear. Because otherwise, there's this cylindrical, serpent-like fish that looks for warm climates that it can crawl into and expand its body with spines to stay there and feed. It's made like that so it can get in the gills of big fish and kind of have a parasitic relationship eat some of the stuff that's going through the gills. But when it comes to the male anatomy, if you get one of those things in the wrong place, it's bad juju. You got to get surgery. I think in the Lower East Side they call that the Bobbit Special.
The Bobbit Special.
Yeah. Okay, if we're choosing to run away from this scarlet lizard that's trying to kill us, we go to page 67. If we want to face it and kill this freaking thing, we go to 71. It's all up to you. I make no choices. I do not make choices. 23. Wow, that was a while ago. Right?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Sorry, I turned ahead a little bit. There's all kinds of crazy beasts in this thing. Oh, I really want to... Damn. Okay, man, what do you say? I think you're my only customer.
My only customer? That's sad. I'm sorry.
The lizard is at least 8 feet tall and still growing. And as it grows, its fiery color glows brighter until you feel as if you're staring into the sun. The golden sword trembles in your hand as you struggle to lift it. You must defeat this devil lizard before it attains its full height. It takes every ounce of your strength to raise the golden sword, but you do it, and you press it forward. The scarlet lizard's black eyes grow wide as your blade stabs at its chest. The heat is almost unbearable, but you stab again and again. The lizard's mouth opens wide in a snarl. Its black tongue lashes out at you. It is still growing, not ready for combat. You have gained a real advantage by striking early. But even this advantage is outweighed by the size and heat of this monstrous lizard. You thrust the golden sword forward again and again, battling violently as the lizard begins to grow. You are not aware that you have only a 50% chance of victory in this battle. It's all a matter of luck. Well, well, well. Because what we find out is, if today's date is even numbered, turn to page 73. If today's date is odd numbered, turn to page 77. Boom, boom, boom. 77, the year I was born. Again and again, the golden sword attacks. It seems only to annoy the scarlet lizard. Suddenly, the scarlet lizard rears back its head. The ground seems to shake, and the red light grows so strong you cannot bear it. You raise your arm to shield your eyes, and everything grows black. Black and wet. Ew.
Moist.
Hey, is that you? A small voice cries. It's Stacy's voice. You open your eyes, but you cannot see anything in the darkness. Stacy, where are we? You cry. We're inside the red lizard, she said in a trembling voice. Eaten up. We're in its stomach, I guess. What? You cry, even more than anger than surprise. This is ridiculous! Inside a lizard's stomach? Is this any way for an adventure to end? Sadly to say, the answer in this case is yes. Does it make you feel any better to know that you gave the lizard a brief moment of indigestion? The end. Weak sauce. But it goes to show you. Kids are stupid. No. Kids are actually very smart. And usually in these cases, they know what to do. They can see the unbelievable and react to it as if it was the everyday. Kids are unflappable. They don't have to deal with the same kind of stresses and anxieties that adults do. So they can usually roll with practically every situation as long as it's comfortable, fun, and somehow laced with sugar. I know this for a fact. But yeah, it's 10:38, so I think we got to put a pin in it right there. What do you think?
We failed twice, I think.
Needless to... What do you mean? No, we won. We won the first one, and then we failed the second one.
I felt like it was shorter than the
I don't know,
Or
but
win, I mean, it seemed like it was on like
here's the funny part. We slayed 3 dragons in a row, small, medium, and large, and then we lose against this crazy scarlet sun lizard that just keeps growing and growing. There is more to be had in this thing, but suffice it to say, it wasn't really fantastically exciting somehow. Something was off with this. I think it may have been needlessly, I hate to say needlessly positive, because it did have a lot of violent parts, but I guess there wasn't, like, when we were fighting, it was kind of one-sided, really.
Yeah.
He was kind of slashing, and there was no retort. There was no repartee between the creature and us. So, R.L. Stein, I blame you, sir. This must have been something when he was just trying to make cash to get his Goosebumps thing going and his Fear Street. I think he's been doing a lot of adult books lately.
Really?
I think so.
He grew with his audience, I guess?
Well, yeah, I suppose. Like, he started doing, like, young adult stuff and a little bit older than that. I think that his problem was, he should have went for Robert Stein. His first name is Robert. This was done in 1983.
You don't like R.L. Stein?
What I'm saying is, if you're, like, there's, Eric Lustbader and Eric Van Lustbader. It's the same guy, but he does like political thrillers with one, and he does science fiction with the other. And there's a couple more like that write with, like, if I was going to be like KT Dawson, then I could write one type of thing. Yeah. It all depends. It makes it difficult to cash checks if your name is Elric Dragonwood and your real name is Tommy Johnson. It's difficult to get the money. If you have your bank account under Tommy Johnson, it's difficult to get in the other name. But you asked for it and you got it. It seems like so far, whenever I've had like a big push for one book or the other, it seems like it always ends in disaster. Like Scene of the Crime. Well, it's legendary. I'm constantly talking about that thing. But I mean, it was so unexpected.
That did beat out the other one, didn't
it? It did. It was so unexpected. But anyway, I feel like everybody joined, and I'm just gonna bug out of here.
Oh my god!
But it's only an hour. I mean, it's an hour 41 minutes later.
We got 7 people in there now, or is it just 2? I can't read.
I think it's 2. But anyway, as soon as I figure out, and if you have any suggestions, like I said, let me know. The Diabolical Index at columnist.com, or you can message me on Facebook, Corey Dawson, or Paradox City Books and Games. Check out Magic Squirrel Network tomorrow night for TJ's Heckles and Horror.
Nope. It's,
no? Whoops.
Pointless Discussions.
Oh, it's Pointless Discussion. Okay, so Pointless Discussions tomorrow night. When does part 3 drop of Planet H? Okay, so Tuesday, the third compilation of cuts from Planet H is going to be dropping. So, conclusion is coming up for Paul, Mark, and is Josh there? I don't know.
You killed Josh.
Did they resurrect him? Hey, Josh was not killed by me. Josh was in throes of passion with the opulent queen. Opalescent, with the opalescent queen. So I don't know. They were given a chance to resurrect him. So if he's not alive,
they got the balls of Eden last week.
Oh, did they? Oh, cool. So okay, awesome. Yeah. So
the one outside the mall was.
So the balls of Eden. Oh, really? In the mall? God, I love that. Please, somebody make a mall in the mall T-shirt. I want that so badly. But. Yeah, so apparently the Balls of Eden have been found. Canon has been satisfied. And hopefully Josh will be coming back for the remainder, for the climax, no pun intended, of Planet H, the Pointless Discussions, fantastical adventure from the Red Planet, Herculubus, Planet H. So don't forget, make sure to check out John Cosper's work on Amazon.com. Definitely go to HM&M Films, Rad Entertainment, and Garage House Studios to check out any updates on Necrotorium and their current work with. I think it's done. I think that Dolly Deadly 2, Kill Dolly Kill, has been finished, and Troma has got a hand in that. So definitely check them out and give them all the support you can muster. And come back next week, Monday at 9ish, for the regular entry edition of Diabolical Index. And until then, keep it squirrely.
You're not.
The squirrel was magic!